Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Statesman's Central Texas Football Webcast. I'm Rich Tijerina, and just like last week, I'm here along with Rick Cantu and Alan Trudeau. And guys, it's the opening week of the high school season, but before we start talking about actual football games, I want to talk about the big football series we've had, Alan, the last 3 days of the paper on Texas high school football coaching salaries. What's been the big revelation that you've come up with there?
First off, there's a huge disparity between what coaches are making throughout the state. 106,000 is what the top coach is making. That's Ennis's Sam Harrell. 42,000, I think it's $300 is what a coach in Houston is making, and that's a huge difference of over $60,000 between the coaches. Two, our large school districts, the largest ones in the state, are not paying their coaches as much as the smaller school districts are, meaning size of the districts, not schools. And those were the two things that really stuck out in my mind.
I was kind of curious, Alan, about the Central Texas. What has been the story behind the Central Texas coaches? Are they in line with the rest of the state, or are they a little bit higher, a little bit lower?
They're actually a little bit lower. We only have two Central Texas schools that are in the top 100, two Central Texas coaches in the top 100 in terms of what they make salary-wise. So that's pretty low. You would figure there'd be a couple more in there, and Austin ISD is way toward the bottom and under the average.
That is a surprise.
Alan, I know you were interviewed by a San Antonio radio station earlier today. What are they talking about this subject, in other parts of the state?
I think people are a little bit upset. They would like to see teachers making a little bit more. Not necessarily saying coaches should make a little bit less, but they'd like to see the gap a little bit smaller. It's about a $31,000 difference. Coaches are making about $31,000 more than teachers are. So that's a pretty wide range there.
Well, these coaches start earning their money during football season. That season starts just a couple of days from now. And, when we get back, we'll talk about that. We're back. We just finished talking about that 3-day series that we've run. We've been running a 10-day series where we've been taking a look at Central Texas's best teams in this power poll, 10 down to 1. We're coming out with Giddings tomorrow. Rick, who's going to be our number one? Who's our big dog this year?
Westlake.
Wait, do that again.
You've heard that so many times that it almost seems redundant that we saying Westlake over and over. But in their case this year, I think they may have the most talent that they've had in 10 years.
The last time Westlake was ranked number one by us heading into the season, I think they lost in my district. Should we be realistically expecting something better this year?
Well, every year it seems like they're losing to Pflugerville early, but they've got better players. They've got a great offensive line, a Division I quarterback, good running backs.
Moving to Region 4.
They're moving to Region 4, which is a big deal, and Westlake is deserving.
Well, what about the rest of the series? We've counted down the top 10 teams. Rick, I heard reports today that Connolly may not be as set at quarterback as we thought they might have been.
Yeah, they had a tough scrimmage the other day. Their quarterback situation is a little frazzled. Some of the fans were actually booing a little bit about what was going on, but some of the other teams are going to be interesting. McCallum is there at number 10. We've got Hutto in there. We've got Cameron Yo in there.
A lot of 3A teams in there.
Was there anything in the top 10 that you disagreed with, maybe? Like, so one team too high, one team too low?
I thought Copper's Cove should have been our number one team. That's who I voted for. I think that they showed last year that they were the top team in Central Texas, and I think that they've got a ton returning, and they're going to be just as good in 4A.
Copper's Cove, Westlake, Hutto, Giddings. One of these schools is going to emerge as the best one overall, and that all starts in a couple of days.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Austin American-Statesman Central Texas webcast. We have in our presence a very special guest. For more reasons than one, it's Claude Mathis. He's the head coach of the LBJ Jaguars, and some people might remember him as the all-time leading rusher at Southwest Texas State. Thanks for taking the time to come visit with us.
Thanks for inviting me, Rick. I appreciate it.
Well, LBJ last year was one of the big surprise teams. They went two rounds deep into the playoffs. Did you have to change the attitude a little bit, or just was it personnel, or what was it that helped you gain such a quick success?
It was the attitude, It was discipline. It was getting the right coaching staff there and able to come in on my page, and we all sat together and set out a game plan, and the kids executed it to a T.
Did they surprise you at all?
Yes, they did. We were going in there 0-4, and that I didn't think we was going to start the season out 0-4, but I knew that was a good chance just the teams that we were playing, and the kids weren't really used to our offense and defense. But the big shocker came against Ellison when we knew we could win, but the kids really started believing it, and that kind of surprised us because we knew that we were almost around the corner, and once they shocked Ellison, the whole season changed right then and there.
One of the big returners on your team is on defense. Andre Hill had about 130 tackles last year. Has he developed even more, and what kind of player is he? What kind of leader is he?
Yes, Andre Hill is an awesome guy. He's an awesome young man. He's a captain. He's being recruited pretty heavily right now. He has a nose for football. This year, we're moving him from Mike to outside linebacker because we have Kerry Hyder right now as the Mike backer. But Andre, right now, we're expecting great things from him this year to lead that defense.
Offensively, you're going to have to make some changes at the quarterback position. You have two guys looking at the same job. How's that shaping up, and who are they?
Shaping up pretty good. We have Curtis Parks, which is a junior. We have Stephon Mercer, which is a junior. Some of you may remember Stephon Mercer from state track meet. He finished 6th in the 100. Right. So he's back right now, and that job right now is shaping up well. They're competing hard for the job and everything, and right now Curtis will be starting at quarterback.
One of the new things about your job this year is you're technically in a new district.
Yes.
You've got 3 new teams, Elgin, Crockett, Manor. So it's going to have a whole different feel. What do you think about adding 3 teams to the district and from a competition standpoint?
Well, it doesn't give us a lot of time to prepare for the preseason games, I'll tell you that. That's why we scrimmage Cameron. They're ranked number 4 in Class 3A right now and 6th in Central Texas. But I'll take that back, 4th in Central Texas and 6th in the state. And that's why I scrimmage those guys. Playing those guys right now because they're a great ball club, and I know that they're there every year in the state. And they're deep in the playoffs, but right now with those other 3 teams coming in right now, it makes the district really interesting.
Before you got here, LBJ was struggling a little bit on the field, and it seemed like they kind of turned a corner a little bit last year. What's it going to take for football in the LBJ area to come back to where it used to be maybe 10 or 15 years ago? We're
close. We're close right now. When I first arrived at LBJ had a bad image. So far, our administration, led by Mr. Patrick Patterson, our principal, has done a great job in changing the school around academically, and it was my part to get the athletics part changed. And our kids right now have turned the corner, and it's yes sir and no sir right now, and it's them getting after it and doing great things and giving us 100% every time. But right now, LBJ we've turned the corner, I should say, but at the same time, we're there where we need to be, like you said, in the 80s and we're basically in the 90s where they're a top-notch team.
You mentioned the confidence factor. How much more confident are the players on themselves right now than they were at this time last year because they did have a successful season?
It's different. It's night and day. You can't tell those guys they're going to lose. You can't tell those guys. You can tell those guys that you're about to get beat by such and such, you don't get your attitude right. They're not believing that right now. They know that if they come out to play, if they execute the offense, defense, and special teams, their confidence is so high right now, they think they can beat anybody.
Last question. McCallum has been the district champion the last 2 years.
Yes, they have.
What do you see? How do you see that race coming up?
Coach Honeycutt does a great job over there at McCallum. I really think that if we take care of business and McCallum takes care of business, it'll be a big ball game when we play each other. But I know McCallum is their district title. They won it last year, and they're not giving it up easy. And I know that Pat is going to have those guys ready.
Claude Mathis, pleasure. Thank you. I know you're a busy man.
Again. Yeah, we are, but hopefully we can win this game on Friday and be a lot busier.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
One of the last games we covered last year was Hutto's state championship loss to Tatum. Hutto kicks things off this week, Thursday night, one of the first games of the season against Dripping Springs. Rick, is this game more important for Dripping Springs or Hutto?
I think it's more important for Hutto because they went to the state championship and they don't know exactly how good they are right now. I think Dripping Springs is going to go in pretty confident.
Who do you like to win that game?
Oh boy, put me in the spot. I like Hutto by a field goal.
I'm not going to give a point spread, but I like Hutto to win that game as well. How about you?
I like Hutto too, but I think it's much more important for Dripping Springs, a team that went 5-5 last year, to get off to a good start and get some confidence rolling once you go into district play.
So you like Hutto, though?
I still like Hutto,
Okay.
but I think it's more important for Dripping Springs.
Let's move on to a couple of other picks. Some of the games that are being played Friday night. We've got Austin High playing Westwood at the Palace on Palmer. How about you guys? What do you think? I'm going to go Maroons on that one.
I'd like to hear Rick's pick first.
I'm going with Maroons. I think we haven't talked a lot about Austin High yet this year. They've got some really good players. Michael Dungy won a gold medal in track, and he's on the team. He's a good defensive back. They're loaded at the offensive line. Austin High is kind of a sleeper pick so far.
Who do you like in that game?
I'm going to disagree with you guys. I'm going to go with Westwood just because last year I noticed that Williamson County district was a lot better than that Austin district when it came to talent-wise. And I'm going to go with the Williamson County team again.
Good.
Chase Rich is a good quarterback. He's back, and he threw well last year.
He is. We've got a couple of other games to talk about. McCallum-Anderson, the big Taco Shack Bowl. I'm picking McCallum in that game to win. Either guys like Anderson, or is McCallum the good pick there?
McCallum is definitely the good pick there, and they've been the good pick the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. They got Paul Tierson, who was one of the best all-around players, special teams and defense wise. You got to go with McCallum on that one.
And then the last game we're going to talk about is probably the best game of the whole weekend. It's Wimberley and Giddings. One team won state last year. The other team thinks they may win this year. The game being played in Giddings.
I'm letting you pick that one
I'm
first.
going with Giddings. In reading Rick's article earlier this week, when you got leadership problems, you got big problems on the football field. Coaches often say, this is the ultimate team game. Well, if that's the case, you need a leader. You need multiple leaders. So I'm going with Giddings.
How about you? You're covering that game, actually.
Yeah, I'm going with Wimberley. I think maybe they have a leadership problem, but they don't have a talent problem.
Tell that to T.O.
Well, I can't help with T.O. or J.J. or who else is over there in Dallas. But Wimberley, they have a lot of players back. Michael Buse is an outstanding running back, and they've got a good defense coming back. 15-0, it's hard to argue with that in the state championship last year.
Split votes. I'm going to go with Giddings at home, just because I think Wimberley has to settle into their situation as far as who they are.
Agree with the brains.
New leaders come in. I'll go with Giddings there.
I'm going to make fun of both of you guys next week after
That's
we
fine.
find out that you're both wrong.
And we will find out.